Hi everyone, Jaffe here, and welcome back to Around the World in Many Days. Today's episode is number 41 and it's titled Colourful Scenery. Today we have what we have on the screen right now, and it's a Word Nurikabe puzzle. If you don't know what that is, please do stick around and find out. And if you are very familiar with that, well, I guess you stick around as well. But that said, these videos are sort of geared towards people who maybe are not yet experts in all these puzzle types, and that's for that reason I'm going to try to explain everything uh, from the point of view that you don't have to necessarily know anything about that specific puzzle type. Now, with that in mind, I do sometimes get carried away, especially with things that I'm very familiar with. So if I'm going too fast, if I will leave something out that maybe should have been explained, please leave a comment and so that I know like how to improve in the future. Because some of these, obviously, I've done a lot. Some of them are new to myself as well. But yeah, please leave a comment at, if there's something you would have liked to explain more. That said, let's read the preamble to this puzzle and see what we have this time. So we have only one puzzle this time. Here we go. So this is a Word Nurikabe puzzle. Shade some cells in the grid. Shaded cells must form one orthogonally connected area, and no 2x2 square can be fully shaded. Each unshaded area forms a snake-like shape that has a start and end point, and does not cross or touch itself. And then there's the same thing explained more formally. Exactly 2 cells in each unshaded area have one unshaded neighbor, and all the other cells have exactly 2. Note that this also means there can be no 2x2 square entirely unshaded in the grid. Write in the given answers into the unshaded areas, each starting at one endpoint and ending at the other. Answers can be written in any direction. Given letters cannot be shaded, and every unshaded area contains exactly one given letter. Maybe we'll go through these one by one, just read the rest of the preamble and then look at this piece by piece, because there are quite a lot of rules to keep in mind in this one. So we have a word list, a list of words that we're going to be inserting into the grid, and I'll have that separately in a separate window in a bit. So the destination that we're looking for. Today I have admired colorful lakes, rivers, and waterfalls in a high-altitude nature reserve. Can you guess where I am? Love, Gladys. So that's what we are looking for, some kind of nature reserve that has colorful lakes, rivers, and waterfalls. So let's keep this actually open if we can. I need to zoom out and keep these rules on the other side and see if we can go through these. So here's the grid. So we need 2 things. We need to do 2 things basically. We need to first shade the grid. So shade some cells here. Let's say something like this. And these unshaded areas are going to contain the words here. So we are going to be inserting some words here as well. So this could be a word. What did we have? Vexing or something. Vexing could be something like this, and then we would be shading everything around it. So this could be a word that we end up with. And these unshaded areas form how was it? So a snake-like shape that doesn't cross itself or touch itself. So it can't do something like this, where these cells touch one another, even though they are not neighbors in the letters in them are not neighbors. So this we cannot do. So we could do something like this. This is an endpoint. This is an endpoint. And counting the neighbors was basically just so this has one unshaded neighbor if we shade all the others here. This has one unshaded neighbor, this has one unshaded neighbor, and all the others have two. So the snake comes from one cell and goes into the other cell. And so that was the snake part. But then the shaded cells. So as with regular Nurikabe, and we did have a regular Nurikabe in a previous episode. I forget what that number was, but a regular Nurikabe had those numbers. So this would be the number 10, and then that just means that we had 10, a region of size 10 here. But here we don't have those numbers. We have letters here in the grid, and yeah, but the shading rules are similar to regular Nurikabe. So what that means is these black cells must form one connected area. So this in fact would be illegal because these are not connected to the other black cells. So all the black cells have to be one area that's orthogonally connected. Orthogonally means sharing this edge. So these are not connected, but these are. So this could be something like this would be valid. These are now connected there. And being connected is one requirement for these black cells, and the other one is that you cannot have a 2 by 2 entirely shaded. So we couldn't shade this cell now because this is now a 2 by 2 that's fully shaded here, and that's illegal. So we have to have at least one unshaded cell in every 2 by 2 box in the grid. Okay, was that all the rules? Let's see. Shade some cells, we did that. They must form an orthogonally connected area. We covered that. And no 2 by 2 square can be fully shaded. Yeah, we covered that. And the snake-like shape we covered. And then we write in the answers like we did here. Okay, and there's another rule here that says that you can't shade the given letters, and every unshaded area contains exactly one given letter. So that means basically that all of these given letters, let's get rid of this coloring here, all of these given letters are part of a different word. There are 11 words in the list, and there are 11 given letters here. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 11. So let's get rid of the example here as well. So each of these is we can't connect these, so we can't, if the word was cave, we couldn't put an A here and an E here because these can't be part of the same word. They have to be part of a different word. And obviously these can't be shaded because they are part of the unshaded area. Okay, so quite a lot of rules, maybe more than the regular Nurikabe, which we had earlier. But let's try to figure this one out. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the word list here. And where do I have it? Here it is. Now I have the word list in a different format than in the puzzle. And this is maybe the first thing to do when you start with this. So we need to realize that we have to know the length of the word that we are inserting. That's going to be important because we're going to need to figure out what words can reach what parts of the grid. And for that, I've ordered these words by letter count here. So the longest word we have is jumping jack, or the longest answer is jumping jack, 11 letters, and the shortest ones are foxy and quiz, which are 4 letters. Now, can we do something with the grid without even looking at the words, without looking at the word list? I think we can do something. Starting with the fact that, first of all, the given letters can't be shaded, so we can immediately mark them. And as always, we're using this light green to indicate a cell that cannot be shaded. Now, again, as we said here, we couldn't put, if we had cave, we couldn't put A here and E here, because that would make put two unshaded, put two given letters in the same unshaded area. But in fact, if we even make this unshaded, that already breaks our rules, because now we have to, the C and V are part of the same word by force, because they're part of an orthogonally connected unshaded area. Now what that means is we can never mark this as unshaded, and we can never mark this as unshaded. So we have to separate these neighboring given letters by these shaded letters. And the same is true here. We can't connect these. And the same is true here. We can't connect this Z and this S, or these, or these, or these. So we can already mark quite a few shaded cells in the grid without ever looking at what words we even have here. Now, how to continue here? And there are few good places to continue. One thing to keep in mind, like all the time when you are filling the grid, is that whenever you are putting in new shaded cells, you have to keep in mind that they need to be connected to all the other shaded cells. They have to be one connected area, and that's especially important when you have shaded cells like this, where that is already blocked on three sides. Now, if this is blocked on three sides, it has to connect to the others. So the only way to connect is through here. So we can never put an unshaded cell here. That would prevent this from connecting to the others. So we must get this one out. So this must be shaded. This is the only way to connect to the others. And the same is true of this. Only way to connect to the others is through here. And for this one, these three sides are already blocked, so this must connect through here. Now, we don't know anything about these because they could go through this one or this one. This one could go through this one or this one. And this one has two options as well. But this is more limited. It's blocked on three sides, so it must get out this way. Now, the same logic kind of applies to these unshaded cells that are very limited. For example, this K here. Now, it's not as limiting as with the shaded cells. For example, if we had just the word K in the list, one letter word, this could just be shaded like this. Obviously, we don't. So anytime we are blocking in either one cell or an area of less than the size 4, then we have to grow that. So this needs to grow up to at least 4 cells, because Foxy and Quiz are the shortest words that we're going to add here. And so this can't be just one cell. So it has to grow in this direction. And now it must be separated from this S. We can't join these because these would have two given digits here. So this must be black or shaded, I should say. I guess it could go either way. These are black, but anyway, shaded cells. So this is shaded now, and it has to connect to the others. So the only way to do it is go through here. And now if we're growing this K up to at least 4, so it must, we can't shade that one. That would make this a size 2, and we don't have words of size 2. So it must go out this way and this way. That's the only direction it can grow. So this is now 4 cells. We don't have to grow it anymore, but we might need to. But from what we know now, this is enough. And you might look at the words Foxy and Quiz and realize that it's not enough, in fact, because neither of those ends or starts with a K. But for now, I think that's the best we can do. So how about this shaded cell here? So that's blocked on 3 sides. The only way for it to connect to the others is through here. And now if we look at this S here, that has to be at least size 4. It must grow, and it has only one way to grow, here and here. And now it can't go here because we need to get these black cells out. So they need to escape through here and here. Now this S could take, the 4th cell could be here or it could be here. 2 options, but we don't yet know which one it is, but we will very soon. Once we look at this Z here. Now this Z, exactly the same logic as with the S. So it has to be at least size 4, and it can in fact be just size 4 because quiz ends with Z. But it doesn't have to, it could be kibbutz of size 7. So this has to be at least size 4, so it must go up to at least here. Now this, again, we can't leave these stranded here, so they must escape, which means now this S, which has to be at least size 4, has to take this cell. This Z now still has two options, this one or this one. What about, what's the most restricted given letter here? How about this F here, which is very restricted? Now this is sort of blocked in on 3 sides, so it has to grow up to at least size 4. So it must go to the right, up and up, and now it could grow. Well, it can't grow in this direction. Now we're leaving this stranded, so this has to get out and it has to go there. So, but this could grow still up to this cell, and that's the last cell it could grow up to, because then we would need to separate this U and this F from this word. They have to be part of different words. So this is either size 4 or size 5. What else? This K has to grow. It has only one direction, so it has to go up to here. And now these shaded cells have to go at least here. Can we do anything better without looking at the word list? I guess we've looked at the word list because we knew that we had size 4 as the minimum, but looking at the specific words that we need, I think this might be the best we can do so far. Yeah, let's look at what kind of words these are going to be. So is there, for example, is there a letter that has to be part of a specific word? Let's look at that. So F, we have F in foxy, and we have an F in freckly. Now, so that's two options. One is 4 letters and one is 7. Now, freckly is not possible here because this can never be 7 letters. If we try to make this 7 letters, we need this to be unshaded, but that also means this is shaded and this is shaded. And now we have only 5 letters, and freckly doesn't fit in 5 letters. So this cannot be freckly. It can only be foxy, and those are the only 2 words that we have that contain an F. So in fact, we already know that this has to be foxy. That's the only word that fits here. So let's write that in. And since foxy is size 4, then we know this must be shaded because the words have to be surrounded by shaded cells. Otherwise, they would be connecting to other words. So this was foxy, which means this F, which now only has one option, which is this freckly. That's the only other F that we have in the word list. But we don't know where this freckly goes. It could go up here, it could go here, or go here. We don't know. This K, which has to be the end or start of a word because it's at this end point. It doesn't have 2 neighbors that are unshaded. So this has to be the start or the end. It could be jumping jack. It could be kibbutz. And those are the 2 options. How about this A here? Now this A doesn't have to be a start or end. It could be could do something like this, and this could be in the middle somehow. It could have these 2 neighbors basically. It could be in vampish. It could be in antiqued. Could be in Shanghai, and it could be in jumping jack. A thing to note, it has to be at least 7 letters. None of these shorter ones contain an A. But even 7 letters, I mean, there are tons of ways to fit 7 letters here. Let's try. 7 letters could be something like, oh, that's already 8. 7 could be like this, could be like this. It could be something like, is this 7? That's 7. Or this would be 7. A lot of ways to put 7, even a size 7 here. So it doesn't really restrict us in any way. What about this Z? What can this be? We looked at this. This could be kibbutz, but it could be quiz as well. Those are the two letters Z that we have. How about this S? This has to be the end or start letter. So it can be Shanghai, that's 8 letters. Or it can be, there's no letters, no word starting, no word ending in S, and only one word starting with S. So this has to be Shanghai, this letter here, which means that we can already fill in start with the start of the word Shanghai, and that we know where the G goes. It has to go here, because that's the only free neighbor that this N has. So that's unshaded, but we don't know in which direction it goes. So Shanghai is already taken. We have to keep that in mind when we look at what words these other letters can be part of. So we have to keep in mind that Foxy and Shanghai and Freckly are already spoken for. So this is Freckly with this F here. How about this K here? So this K can be part of kibbutz, and it can be it has to be the start or end letter again, because this only has one unshaded neighbor, and it can be jumping jack. So 7 or 11. So that means that this 4 is not enough, so we have to take the next available square here for, we must make that unshaded basically. We can't do this because this would be 4 and we need at least 7. So this is unshaded, which means these shaded cells have to get out. They must go here. And now, do we know something based on this? Do we know something more about Shanghai? No, it could go could still go here with the H, or it could go there. So we don't know enough yet. Okay, so that was K. It must be 7 or more, 7 or 11 specifically, but we don't know where it goes yet. How about this N? Now this N doesn't have to be the start or end. It could have 2 unshaded neighbors still. And in fact, we don't have any word that starts with N, and we don't have any word that ends with N. Now that's useful because we know that it has to be in the middle, basically. So it has to have 2 unshaded neighbors. Now we have to shade this because we can't connect these two words. These have to be different words. So this is shaded now, and now this shaded cell has to connect to the others, has to go here, and now all of these need to connect to the others. So they have to go through here, at least here. And let's continue that actually, because this C again has to be a word. It has to have at least four letters. So the first has to be here, only option. And now again, these shaded cells have to get out. Only one way to go, through here. And now this C needs to grow up to at least 4, so here at least. And again, these shaded cells need to get out, so obviously can't do that. That would block those in. So we have to get these out through here. This shaded cell has to get out, and this shaded cell has to get out. Now this, we'll look at that in a minute, whether that can be 4. This V has to grow, so it has to go at least here. These shaded cells have to get out, and these shaded cells have to get out. Anything else? Here we have a size 3 that has to be at least size 4, and now these shaded cells have to get out, and these shaded cells have to get out. And now this V, again, size 3, we have to take this cell as well. Only one way for it to grow, and it needs to grow up to at least size 4. All right, so quite a lot of sort of back and forth between these. So it sort of accumulates, so you get one shaded cell, and that allows you to get some unshaded cells, and so forth and so forth. So we got the whole corner already done based on that. But what I wanted to look at was, we got this cell here, and that is blocked on 3 sides. So this has to be the start or end point, which limits the options for this word quite a lot. So now this N specifically has to be the second letter or the second last letter. And now, what are our options here? Can't be foxy, can't be quiz, can't be dig out, could be vexing. So that's the first option. That's the shortest option this can be, is 6 letters. Is that the only option? Can't be freckly, can't be kibbutz, can't be vampish, could be antiqued with this N here. Shanghai we used already. Can't be crown jewel, can't be jumping jack. So we have 2 options for this word. So vexing or antiqued. So it's at least 6 letters. So that allows us to shade some more. So six letters what we need at least. So this would be the 5th, and only one way to go for the 6th. That's this one. Now these shaded cells again need to connect to the outside. Only one way to do it is through here. Now this is enough. 6 letters is enough for this word. That would be vexing then. So we could do this. Could surround that, but we don't know whether that's correct or not yet. Now, how about this V here? Is 4 letters enough for this V? And V, we have vexing, V in vexing, and V in vampish. So it has to be 6 or 7 letters. But again, we don't know in which direction it goes yet. How about this C, which we sort of started solving already because we had to get these out, and then this C helped with that. But what words can this C be part of? Now, can't be foxy, can't be quiz. Neither of those start or end with C, and this has to be the start or end letter because it's blocked on 3 sides. Can't be dig out, can't be vexing, freckly, kibbutz, vampish, antiqued, Shanghai. It can be crown jewel. This is the starting C here, and it can't be jumping jack. So crown jewel is the only word that fits this C here. Now that we know that this is the first or end letter, but there are no words ending in C. So it has to be 10 unshaded, 10 letters, so 10 unshaded cells here. So it has to grow, must go through here. Now these shaded cells have to get out. These need to get out. This has to grow again. So this is number 6. This is 7 now. Again, these need to get out through here. These need to get out through here. Now, this V, was that 6 and 7? We had V for vexing and V for vampish. Those were the options for this V here. So this is either 6 or 7, so we have to grow it up to 6 at least. So that's 5, and only one way to go for the 6. Now again, these shaded cells have to get out, have to connect through here. And now we need, this was size 10 now, so this is currently 7. That's 8. Now these shaded cells have to get out. These have to get out. Now that allows us to grow this to, is it 9 now? This is 9, and the 10th must be here. And we can surround that with unshaded cells, with shaded cells, I should say. So this is now the size 10. Now we arrive, and this is correct. We arrived at from what this word could be, and from the fact that these shaded cells have to get out, have to escape and join the others. And in fact, we must shade this one as well, because if we make this unshaded, now these are still trapped by this long word here, and we can type in the crown jewel. But just a note here that we could have arrived at the same conclusion another way, and this is I'm going to just should I just erase some of these? I'm not going to erase anything. We'll keep that there, just keeping in mind that this is what we arrived at from the earlier logic. But there was one other way to reach the same logic, and that is to think about the 2x2 boxes. So imagine we hadn't shaded this part of the grid at all. Let's look at this corner here. Now we know this corner cannot be fully shaded. It has to be it has to contain at least one unshaded cell. And now note that this is furthest away, really far away from all the given letters. So all of these given letters are either at the right hand side or at the top. So this is very hard to reach. And we could have started the very first thing we could have done could have been to think about, okay, we have 11 letters at most to reach this box here. What word can even reach there? And the answer is this cannot. This is more than, I think this is 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 would be here. This would be 13. And we have no words long enough. Obviously, this is further away. This is further away. These are all further away. This is further away. So we could have seen that the only option to reach this would have been this word, which would work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or this word. And then we could have seen that there's no V word long enough, because the longest V word that we have is Vampish, which is 7 letters, and 7 is not enough to reach this. And therefore, this would have had to reach there, and we could have filled in all of these unshaded cells. And then these have to get out and shaded all these. So that would be another way to reach the same conclusion, that this C has to reach all the way down to this corner. And that is in this puzzle type and in regular Nurikabe, it's often very useful to look at the sort of most remote areas and see what can reach there, because sometimes there's only one possibility, and once you stretch that all the way there, that gives you a lot of cells in the grid. So that's one way of reaching there, but we got there without even thinking about that logic. Okay, but now we can type in the word that we had, which was crown jewel. So crown jewel goes there. Now, did that help us eliminate any options? This could not have been crown jewel. This couldn't have been crown jewel, and this couldn't have been crown jewel. This was freckly. Do we know what this is? This has two options still, and this U we don't know really anything about yet. But we knew that this K it had two options: kibbutz, which was 7 letters, or jumping jack, 11. So this has to grow. So that should give us something now. This is currently 7 letters. It has to be at least, this is currently 5 letters, sorry. So it has to be at least 7. It has to grow here and here. Now these shaded cells have to go out, and these need to go out this way. Now, do we have enough cells here? We do, because this could be vexing, V-E-X-I-N-G. This works, and we could just, that's one option. That's 6 letters, but it has also the antiqued option, which would grow us by 2 cells here. What about if we think about the 2 by 2 boxes again? Let's look at the next most remote area, which would be this box here. Already 2 shaded cells. So we have 2 options for the unshaded one. Now, what word is going to reach into this box here? We know this is 6 or 7 letters, vexing or vampish. Those are the only words that have V here in our list. So this can take an additional cell here, but it cannot reach into this box. And obviously this box cannot remain fully shaded. So something needs to reach in there. Can it be this word, which is vexing or antiqued? Now antiqued is 8 letters. We have 6, so it could take this cell and this cell, but obviously very far from reaching here. Shanghai, we need 3 more letters, and doesn't require any counting to see that that's way too little to reach here. Quiz, was this quiz, or it could have been quiz or kibbutz, actually, this one. Yeah, there are still two possibilities for this one, but either one is way too short to reach here. Obviously these are much further away. This was freckly, cannot reach there. Freckly, ly. That's the furthest it can go, or here if it turns, but very far away. Now this can reach there, and that's the only one that can. But it has to be the longest word that it can, which is jumping jack. And if we make it jumping jack, it barely reaches there. So it would then be jumping jack. What am I writing? Right, like this. This is the only way it reaches there. If it makes a turn anywhere, it falls short, and it can never reach this because this is 12 away from this. And it doesn't matter where you turn, by the way. This is sort of the Manhattan distance or something, that however you turn, if you don't take any wrong turns, from here you can turn at the first step and go here, that's 12, or you can turn somewhere in the middle, it's still 12. It doesn't matter. The shortest amount of steps between these 2 points is 12. So, and obviously if you turn here, it takes longer. But the point is, this is too far, so this has to be shaded no matter what. This is then therefore unshaded, and the only word it can, only given letter it can reach is through here, and there's only one way to do it, which is the letters that we input in the grid. So that's why this is the only way to reach this box here. That means that we can surround this with shaded cells. We can remove our box here, and jumping jack has been accounted for now. This is still doesn't remove any options from this. This can be vexing or it can be vampish. This is still now. Can this be antiqued? Antiqued would take these two, which would make this shaded, but this could still be 6 letters. This could be vexing. Now, what about this K here? Now we used jumping jack, so does this have to be now kibbutz? Is that the only word that we are? That's the only word that starts with K, and we don't have any other words ending in K except for this jumping jack that we use. So this has to be kibbutz. We can write that in. So K-A-B-B-U-T and Z. And that's the final letter, so we can surround that with shaded cells. Now, from here, I think what we're going to need to do is use the same logic that we did with the boxes, and think about these cells here, because this is at most 8 letters. It can go at most here. It cannot reach these, and this is 7 at most, so it cannot reach these. So what can reach? Well, it could be that one, or I guess that one. Either way, we are looking for these two white cells here. So what can reach into this one, knowing that this is I'm going to write in the longest word that this can be. This is not necessarily right. I'm going to remove that once we illustrate that this cannot reach there. So antiqued, which is the longest word that it can be, cannot reach into this cell. And vampish as well, which is the longest word this can be, is too short. Could go here, but no further. So cannot reach this from this side. So what can reach into that? This box here. Shanghai is too short. It could go like this, but it can't reach there. This can no longer be even kibbutz, because kibbutz was used, so this has to be quiz now, and we can actually type in these letters. So this has to be quiz. The Q can be here or here, but obviously way too short to reach there. We've used crown jewel and jumping jack. We've used Shanghai for this one. We don't know where antiqued goes yet, but antiqued could be here. But A-N-T-I-Q-U-E-D. Doesn't matter where we turn, it's way too short to reach this box from this A, even if it's the longest word that it can be. This U, So the longest word this can be is can't be this, can't be this, can't be this. Could be antiqued, but then it would have to start. This wouldn't even be the starting letter, so we could use QITNA, QITNA to reach here, and that's way too short. So this cannot reach here, and obviously all the other words containing U are much shorter. Kibbutz is used. Dig out only has 4 letters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, much too short to reach here. So it has to be the freckly. So where does freckly go? Freckly. It can reach here, but this cannot be reached by any of the words that we have. So that by force is shaded. So that by this 2 by 2 logic has to be unshaded. There's only one word that can reach into this, and it's exactly 7 letters, freckly. So it has to be go straight. I can't make any turns because that would make it much more than 7 letters. So freckly goes here. And we can surround it with shaded cells because that is the entire word. Now then, we can remove our little box here. So now this 2 by 2 box here has 3 shaded cells, so this must be unshaded. Now it can't join this because this vexing of ampish, joining this way would make it 8 letters, and there is no V word with 8 letters. So it has to join this, and that makes this N word 8 letters, and the only option for that one was antiqued. So these shaded cells have to get out. They have to join the others, have to make this shaded. So now this is this V word is 6 letters, so vexing is the only option. And now this N word, we had 2 options. We had antiqued and well, vexing was already even used, so antiqued is the only option here. Now then, we have a lot of words used already. Shanghai is we haven't finished it, but we know where it goes. Quiz we know. So the only words that we don't know where they go are, we used that. We have to get dig out. Well, it can't be part of the A, so dig out has to be part of this U specifically. Then Vixen we had, Freckly we had, Kibbutz we had, Vampish is the one we was left out. It could have been here, but now it can't. So Vampish has to be part of this. Now what that means is we can shade something. Now this A is not the start or end point of the word Vampish. So it has to have 2 unshaded neighbors, and it only has 2 available neighbors, so they must both be unshaded. And now if you remember the snake rules, now the snake rules say that the snake can't touch itself. So if we mark this as unshaded, doesn't matter what way we go, 2 cells are going to be touching that are not neighbors in the snake. So we can't do that, so that must be shaded. Now these we don't know about because this A is going to be the second letter, but it could go this way or it could go this way. We don't know which way the snake goes. So what else do we know here? We now know these have to get out. Since we know this is unshaded, these have to join the others. They have to escape from here. So this must be shaded. So this is the only way for the Q of the word quiz here. And now we can surround this with shaded cells and type in, not one, Q. These shaded cells have to get out. This must be shaded. Shanghai, only one way to continue. So this is the H, A, and I. And type those in as well. And we can mark this as shaded then. And now these shaded cells, again, need to escape, have to take this cell. So we are almost done. We have 2 words to insert here. This 2 by 2 box has to have an unshaded cell. It already has 3 shaded cells, so this must be unshaded. Now, how do we determine how these 2 remaining words are situated here? This could go a couple of different ways. So even this U, which is the second last letter. So it has to have two unshaded neighbors, but it has three options here. So where do we put the end, the T here, the end letter? That has to be a neighbor of this U. Now I think we can already from this point, I think we can determine where the T goes. So obviously can't go there because this is not the end point. It has two neighbors. So the T cannot go there. So it only really has two options. If it goes here, if the T goes here, which is wrong, and the reason I think it's wrong is if we put the T here, now where does the snake go next? And it has two options. If it goes there, then the snake has to go up there, and no matter what it does, it can never go back to this 2x2 box, making this fully shaded. Now that's illegal. We can't make a 2x2 fully shaded box. Now the only other option for the snake to continue, if this is T, where's the O going? If it can't go there, it has to go there. But then if we go, that's T, U, O, then we have to continue the snake. It has to go here. And once it goes here, we see that these cells are already touching. The snake can't, a cell on the snake can't touch another cell. That's not its neighbor. So this shape is illegal based on the snake rules. So if we put the T here, there's no legal way to finish the snake. So if the T can't go here, it can't go there. The only way for the T to be next to the U is here. And I think once we fill that in, I think we can fill in the rest of the word dig out here. So T has to have only one unshaded neighbor. So this must be shaded. Now, still we have two options to reach this cell here. And oops, moved my camera there. We have two options here. So we could go left here, which would make the snake. We need a six cell snake. We would need a snake like this. This would force, like, if the snake goes here, it must go up, and then now it can't touch itself, so it must go up again. So this would be the only way. If we go left from here, this would be a way to finish the snake. And so this would be the dig out, and now this would then be the first letter of what's the word that we need? Vampish. So VAM, and then we would have PIS and H. We would barely make it, but we would have enough letters for Vampish and dig out, and these would then be shaded, and that is a way to fill the grid, and it looks completely fine. Let's look at the other way. So we were here. Let's look at the other way. So that seems to work, but we have to cover the other option as well. And in retrospect, I should have started with the wrong one. But here's the wrong one. We could go left, which seemed to work. So that has to be the correct one. If we go up, does that not work? So we could go up, to the left, to the left. This would be still dig out. And now this runs into the problem of, I'm going to mark these as shaded now. This is the wrong way. So now this has to be unshaded because this is in a 2x2 box that has 3 shaded cells, which means this has to be the V of Vampish. Where's my letter tool here? V. This has to be the V of Vampish. M, P, and now this has to be the I, and now where does the S go? If it goes here, we have shaded cells here that are stranded, and even, clearer way of seeing it is the H would go here, and then these are stranded. So no way to fill the word Vampish once we put dig out this way. So let's go back. So that said, dig out cannot go up. The O cannot be here because we would have no way of filling in Vampish. There would be not enough space for the word vampish, which means we have to go to the left. That forces this and forces this. Again, we can't do this because the snake can't touch itself. So we have to go there, and we can fill in dig out. We can surround that with shaded cells. Now this has to be unshaded because there are already 3 shaded cells in this 2x2 box. Has to get out there. Now these black cells have to go out this way. And now we know this is one end of the word vampish. Well, it can't be the V because the A is too far away. So it has to be the H, S, and I has to go there. Now this can't be the other end because we can't go through here and then the snake would be touching itself. So the only way of doing it is going through here, and then that would be the P, M, and V. And that's the structure we had before. This must then be shaded, and that should give us a finished grid. So that was our Word Nurikabe done. And now we are left with the question of where are we then? Because the instructions didn't give us any information about how to find the answer. And if the instructions don't give any information, then that should mean that it's not very hard to find, that it should be somewhere very visible. And if we read some of these crossing words that are formed by these crossing letters, obviously a lot of these are nonsense. OVT Baus, Weiyun QDH or something. And we can read some of these and eventually find the central row here, which says Jeojaigo, which is a place. So that is spelled out in the middle row here, and that is our destination, Jeojaigo. And let's look at what that is. So here's our map. Let's look at Jeojaigo first. So that's a nature reserve, and that's what we were looking for, a nature reserve with colorful lakes and rivers and so forth. So here we are. It's in Sichuan province in China, and we have a picture here. So that's where we are. Looks pretty nice. And indeed, Colourful Scenery was the name of the puzzle. So let's look at the map then. Last time we were in Mongolia, and we have traveled a bit here to sort of the central area of China, and this is where we are, Jeojaigo Nature Reserve. And our entire trip so far is getting harder and harder to fit on the screen. So let's see how we do it. Here we are starting in Ethiopia, Africa, Europe, all of the Americas, and now we are here in East Asia. And this is the distance we have to travel. So still have to travel, basically. Okay, so that was it for episode 42. 41, I should say. And 42 is going to be a puzzle called Erebus Unum. It's a rebus puzzle, sort of a interpreting pictures, basically. And yeah, I will see you for that one and for this one. Thanks for watching.